So this episode focuses on Gangle's past, keeping to the theme of having a focused character each episode. It starts with Zubal offering Gangle a new happy mask to help with how she feels about herself.
I don't know if it'll work, but it looks about the same shape as yours.
I like this because Zubal's issues are very similar to Gangle's, as they are unhappy with their body parts not feeling right, and so Zubal is the perfect person to step in here and relate to Gangle. Zubal notes that the mask is made of plastic and so it won't break. In theory, this is good because Gangle's other masks keep breaking, but it's also a subtle nod to the happy mask being both figuratively and literally fake. The happy mask is normal, which Gangle wants to be, she wants to fit in. But this normal isn't real, and it doesn't make her happy on the inside, as we'll see. Once Kane sends them on their quest to Spudsy's, we see how she jumps into manager mode, having learned that she used to be a manager in this sort of role. What I really like about this episode is how each character kinda does their own thing, while being forced into a small space together. Aside from Kinga, who's best boy, some people dislike that there was less of an adventure, because the gang stays in Spudsy's the entire time and not a lot of action happens. While I agree that the other episodes have more entertainment value, I actually think this episode is now my personal favourite. Like I said before, each character gets to play off each other, and when everyone's stuck together in this fast food place, it creates a lot of drama and character development. I haven't worked in fast food personally, but for anyone that works dead-end jobs, this episode is super relatable, really showing customer service as the existential hellscape that it is, and what it does to a person mentally. We also learn new information about the rest of the cast. Pomni finally sees Gummigoo again, and it's as sad and sweet as we'd expect, with Ragatha even suggesting Pomni has a crush on him. I wouldn't agree with Ragatha, but then Pomni at one point is literally crawling on the floor towards Gummigoo, which is phenomenal. And speaking of Ragatha, wow, I feel like we learn a lot about her while she's drunk, where she admits to hating Jax but not wanting him to hate her. I think most characters dislike or hate Jax, but to have Ragatha say this and other things she says throughout the episode, we really get to see this hidden side to her, because she's always putting up this image of kindness, which even Gangle finds difficult.
I love her, but after a while it gets kinda hard to tell how genuine she's actually being.
And then Gangle puts on her happy mask, linking to her own faked emotions. Ragatha is masking through kindness, with some of her true feelings about the others coming out. Even though this was played up for jokes, it's super revealing about where Gooseworks is taking her character, and it's really well written. I really like the small conversation between Zubal and Jax. Zubal seems genuinely afraid of Kane, believing that the only reason he's not doing worse is because he likes them. And I'm not gonna lie, it's super satisfying to see Jax put in his place, but it's a little concerning that Kane apparently sees punishment as motivation now. So maybe Zubal is right to be afraid, and this is some ominous warning about what's to come next. This is also one of the first episodes where Pomni takes a sideline from being the main character, as she's along for the ride with the others, but this is really Gangle's episode. A lot of people are talking about Jax, and there is some of him, but honestly, I don't feel like he did too much here. There's a moment where he seems to talk to Pomni in a less mean way, but other than that, he's mostly his normal self, if more depressed. The best scene with him is when Gangle has him punished by watching some kind of employee video, but this moment reveals more about Gangle and basically nothing about Jax. He's just kind of forced to watch, which is funny and deserved. I think there's going to be a lot of comparisons of whose story is the saddest among the characters, with many saying it's Kinga. But personally, I don't think we should compare the characters' trauma this way. It feels like it misses the point of what the show is about, which is a group of people suffering and struggling together, trying to find hope to keep going. But that said, Gangle's past to me is very relatable. Episode 3 wasn't so focused on Kinga's past until near the end, and so by focusing so heavily on what Gangle's day-to-day life must have been like, we really feel that creeping despair and dissociation, and it makes her incredibly easy to relate to. I love the touch of Jax checking the clock over and over. I'm almost 100% certain someone in the Glitch team has worked in fast food, but small details like this really bring the realism to the situation, in an existential dread way that's honestly more horrifying to adults than I think the previous episode's horror was. And after it all becomes too much, we see Gangle at her lowest point. This moment for me was so upsetting to watch. For a moment, Gangle actually seems ready to abstract when Pomni comes to the rescue.
If you want to get out of here, you can. You don't have to be stuck here alone.
If you want to get out of here, you can. This line feels bigger than the entire episode, to be honest. This day at the job is really just like a day at the circus, and like the circus, there's no true escape. Pomni encourages Gangle to leave even though she'd be back the next day if it were real, because she wouldn't truly be able to leave. The circus and Spudsy both represent the same kind of prison many people find themselves trapped in real life. Outside of the prison that is work, Gangle is free to take off her mask, and we see the real mix of emotions on her face. She's still sad, but she's able to smile. You really feel that relief when she looks up at that beautiful sky. Everyone in this show puts on a mask, whether to hide how they truly feel, to not let others see them as weak, or simply to make it through a day of a very stressful job. For me, this episode felt almost too real and depressing, and so I get why many others would have found it less fun. But I think that's the point, because this is life for many people, and it's a really honest, thoughtful portrayal of that struggle. Thanks for watching.